Well, good evening, everyone. Here, I'm going to move around and get on a microphone because I want to make sure that everyone can hear me, because we are broadcasting over the internet live, and as far as I know, it's working. Beth, would you please hit the lights? Because this was going to be the debut of big screen radio, and unfortunately, we didn't really plan on other lights like how we could actually see, but wait till you see the graphic that we've had up here all this time. Ooh. And then you get this from me. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Well, welcome. We got a pretty good show for you tonight. This is, of course, the Icebox Radio Theater's old-time Halloween radio show 2019. We have a brand new original Woody and Dunghauser skit, which features a character that was very well received last summer at our live show at the band shell, Lou the Doomsday Prepper. Also, the main feature this evening is a play that I think is probably one of the, well, for old-time radio nerds like me, it's probably right up there with War of the Worlds, and that is the House in Cypress Canyon. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that before we start the second half of the show, because we're going to start with some other things. First of all, just some housekeeping items. Do want to remind everybody, please turn cell phones off or cell phones to vibrate. There's nothing quite like being in a room of carefully listening strangers who then learn that your ringtone is Funky Town. Been there, done that. Trust me, you don't want to. The bar is located in the hallway. Doesn't look like we've had too much trouble locating that, as well as the bathrooms, which are down that back hall as well. Of course, the men's is directly adjacent to the bar, and then way down. Are the lights on, Beth? Okay, so the ladies don't need to walk into the inky black to do that. Smoking is, of course, out to your left, and I think the ashtray on those doors is the official 20 feet. I think it's 20 feet in the state of Minnesota away from an entrance. Okay, so the first thing that we'd like to do tonight is not radio, but actually a seasonally offering from another great old medium, silent movies. If you tend for nostalgia, as I do, this is a wonderful, wonderful film. It's entitled The Haunted House, starring the incomparable Buster Keaton. Nicknamed the Great Stone Face, Buster Keaton his deadpan expression and raucous physical comedy style is unlike anything in entertainment before or since. Critic Roger Ebert wrote of Keaton's, quote, extraordinary period from 1920 to 1929 when he worked without interruption on a series of films, both full-length and shorts, which in Ebert's estimation made him the greatest actor-director in the history of movies. During this 9-year period, Keaton produced 32 films, including the movie we're going to start our evening with tonight. Now, this is actually an abbreviated version of the film called The Haunted House. The whole thing is on YouTube. It's worth checking out, but there was about half of it that has nothing to do with the haunted house, so it's Halloween. It's made in 1921. It has, shall we say, a certain naive charm, born of a different age, but it's very funny. And we found a version with a wonderful piano score. We're very proud to introduce our new concept, big screen radio, with this film tonight. Now, this one, Beth, we might want to kill those lamps to make best use of the movie. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin our evening with Buster Keaton.
Halloween time in the Northland, and the streets are full of witches and goblins, superheroes and princesses, all searching for that elusive house that's giving out full-sized candy bars. But what's this? Just behind a group of gaily costumed toddlers walks our good friends, Woody and Dunghauser, dressed unsurprisingly as a pair of Northland fishermen. Zoom in close, and you can hear them say,
"Great day in the morning. How many nieces and nephews you got, Dunghauser?"
Oh, this isn't even all of them, Woody. This is just my sister Vera's kids, plus a couple cousins from out Pelham way. Nice to let the farm kids come into town for tricks and treats, you know.
I feel like I need crowd control. How many are there again?
Just Sadie, Sydney, Carl, Carla, Roger, Pete, Trevor, Lug, and Michael.
Wait a minute, Lug? You got a kid named Lug?
Oh, that's just a nickname his mama gave him. I guess Lug was real heavy when he was a baby, and she had to carry him everywhere.
It looks pretty heavy now. Hey, what's he doing?
Oh, he's just coming closer to tell us something. Woody, relax.
I don't like it when they come up to me, or stand close to me, or just be around me in general.
Oh, just relax.
Uncle Dunny!
What is it, Lug?
The lady in that house gave me an extra Snickers bar. I want you to have it.
Oh, well, that's real nice of you, Lug. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, what is it, Woody?
Oh, nothing.
No, what's wrong?
It's nothing, I said.
Come on, Woody. There's a mosquito in your tent about something, and I want to know what it is.
Well, how come these kids keep giving you candy?
What?
You know what I mean. It's the third or fourth time one of them kids come up, give you one of their treats. Wasn't like that when I was a kid. You guarded your candy when I tricked or treated, less than you're going to try and trade up for something better. The way these kids are giving it away now, I'll tell you, Dunghauser, I fear for the future of the country.
Oh, well, maybe kids are just a little more, I don't know, generous.
Oh, nonsense. Kids are greedy, violent monsters and always will be.
Well, my nieces and nephews aren't. Some of the nicest kids I've ever known.
Nice, huh? Well, if they're so nice, explain to me why they haven't given me one piece of candy since we've been out here.
Ah, I see. So that's what this is about.
What?
You're jealous.
Why, that's ridiculous.
Oh, you don't understand, Woody. They love me. I'm the cool uncle.
The cool uncle, huh?
Well, yeah, that's right. I'm the uncle what brings them fireworks and lets them have those energy drink things after 9 p.m. Shows them how to fire off a .22 shell with just a hammer and a nail.
The cool uncle.
Well, that's right. And they love me for it.
I don't think it's very nice of them giving you candy and just ignoring me. After all, I'm out here just like you are.
Well, you didn't have to come. You could have just stayed home.
And spend the night answering the door for a bunch of rotten kids? Not on your life.
All right, here, I'll help. Sadie,
Yes, Uncle Dougie?
hey, could you do me a favor? Next house, what gives you extra candy for me? Make sure to get some for Uncle Woody, too, all right?
Aw, do I have to?
It would be nice.
All right. Hey, you guys, Uncle Dougie says we have to give some candy to the Stinky Guy.
I am not the Stinky Guy.
Well,
What?
you do have a unique odor, Woody.
What are you talking about?
You know, it's strange. It's like some kind of combination of mothballs, old fish, and socks.
Socks?
Wet socks.
Well, that's not my fault. I'm a fishing guide. My feet get wet sometimes.
Well, you can change your socks when they get wet, Woody.
Sure thing, Mr. Rockefeller.
Hey, Uncle Dougie.
Oh, here we go.
Look, the last house gave out candy apples. I want you to have mine.
Oh, well, thank you, Carl. And remember what we said.
Yeah. Here, Uncle Woody.
Why, thank you.
Okay.
Aw. Now, wasn't that nice? I got a candy apple. What'd you get?
A Jolly Rancher.
Oh,
A single Jolly Rancher. Purple flavored.
well, that seems very nice.
And it looks as if it's been unwrapped already and partially used.
Oh, well, here we go again. Here comes Carl again.
How on earth can you tell these kids apart?
Well, Carl has this scar on his cheek from that time I showed him how to fire off that .22 shell.
Oh.
Uncle Dougie. The last house is giving a whole boxes of Twizzlers. I got you one.
Oh, well, thank you, Carl.
And here.
Thank you, Carl. Carl. Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome.
Well, how about that? A whole box of Twizzlers. What'd you get, Woody?
Can of cat food.
Well,
Ocean medley flavor. Oh, good. My favorite.
well, maybe the next house will be better.
Sure. Maybe the next house will give me a cat.
Oh, wait, hang on a minute. Kids, stop.
What is it? What's wrong?
Well, next house in line is that Crazy Lou's place, and we're not stopping there.
Oh, you mean that loony doomsday prepper? Oh, come on. He's harmless.
Oh, you don't understand, Woody. It's common knowledge around these parts. You don't trick or treat Lou's house.
And why the heck not?
One time, these two kids went up his house on a dare. Never heard from again.
Which two kids?
Well, I don't know, but my cousin's sister's friend said it's true. Said Lou gunned him down in cold blood.
Well, did anyone hear any shots?
No,
Did anyone call the police?
I don't think so.
Well, then how do you know this story's true?
I can just feel it in my bones, Woody. I got a sixth sense about these kind of things. Like how I only buy lottery tickets on days I know I'm sure to pick a winner.
And have you ever actually won anything playing the lottery, Dunghauser?
Not exactly, but this one day when I bought a ticket, I found a quarter on the ground outside the store.
You got a real gift there, Dunghauser. I think I'll go up to Lou's place and say howdy anyway.
You can't do that.
And why not?
It's against the rules. His porch lights off.
Well, I ain't trick-or-treating. I just want to talk to him about something.
Oh, but he's sure to have all kinds of mysterious security measures and deadly booby traps.
Well, that's what I want to talk to him about. He come into the store the other day, bought 3 boat batteries, but only paid for 2. Said he'd give me the balance later.
So what's the rush?
It's later, ain't it?
All right, I'll come with. Just wait a second.
I thought you were afraid.
Wait a second. Hey, kids, go on to the next house. I gotta help Uncle Woody with something.
But that's Crazy Lou's house, Uncle Dougie. You can't go there.
Well, yeah, but Crazy Lou owes Woody money, and I don't think he's gonna give up till he gets it.
Okay. Tell the police where to start looking.
Well, good then. And nobody eating the candy until I've had a chance to inspect it.
Yes, Uncle Dougie.
Geez, Woody, I just don't know about this.
Oh, just relax. Only take a minute, and then you can get back to your fan club.
No, it's not the kids I'm worried about. It's what Lou might have in his yard.
We'll be fine. Just come on.
Oh, this isn't good, Woody. This is dangerous.
Well, I'm pretty sure Lou doesn't have anything dangerous in his yard.
How come?
Well, for one thing, that's illegal.
Oh, Lou doesn't recognize the government. Said he renounced his citizenship when they elected that crazy liberal president.
Who? Obama?
No, Ronald Reagan.
Okay, well, between you and me, I feel perfectly safe in here.
Why?
Well, because I don't think that crazy Lou could ever make a booby trap that would actually work.
Oh! What happened? Where are we?
It's a rope net. That crazy Lou's caught us.
Can we get down?
We're 20 feet up before an inch.
Oh, how could this night get any worse?
Halt! Don't move!
Lou, is that you?
I said don't move.
Well, we're stuck up in a rope net, you idiot. How are we supposed to move?
You're moving right now.
Or not?
And so, you're swinging gently back and forth. I can see you.
Well, what do you want me to do about that?
Stop swinging.
How?
Use Condon's second law of motion to counterbalance the energy of the net with reverse inertia.
Gee, it's so obvious when you say it like that.
Uh-oh.
What? Uh-oh? What's wrong?
I don't think I should have had that last candied apple.
Why not?
I don't think the net's strong enough to hold both of them. Oh, God. I think I broke something, Woody.
How many times do I have to tell you guys don't move?
Well, once the net broke, we didn't have a lot of choice, Lou. And point that rifle someplace else.
I'll point it where I want. This is my property, and you're a vandal.
I am not.
Or so.
All right. If I'm a vandal, just what did I vandalize?
Well, you broke that rope net.
For the love of...
Well, calm down a bit. Sorry, Lou. We didn't know about the rope net, and we didn't mean to break it.
A likely story. What were you doing up in it then?
Well, you caught us, remember?
Well, when I set that rope net, I certainly didn't expect to catch two miscreants of your weight.
Hey.
No, I understand. We'll just be going, Lou.
Wait a minute. Why'd you come up inside the security perimeter to begin with?
Because you owe me money, that's why.
So you thought you'd come collect on Halloween? Very foolish, Woody, very foolish.
Well, what do you mean by that?
It's All Hallows Eve, the night when lawlessness and terror strikes the heart of every God-fearing property owner. And it's up to us to defend our homes or face the consequences.
Those consequences being...
Trick-or-treaters.
Well, what's so bad about trick-or-treaters? Dunghauser and I have a whole flock of them.
So, you're in on the scam, huh?
Not me. Dunghauser's the one getting all the candy. I'm just in it for the cat food.
I didn't know you had a cat, Woody.
Well, I don't, but the night's still young.
Look, Lou, I understand how you want to protect your property and everything, but our kids are all right. Most of the kids in town are all right. What do you got against trick-or-treaters anyhow?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, I love Halloween. I just don't want them on the property.
Well, your house is set way back on the lot. How can they trick-or-treat without coming up your property?
That's where ingenuity comes in. Woody, hold my gun.
All right.
And be sure to halt everyone coming up the driveway and demand they stand to be recognized.
I'll be sure to do that just as soon as I care.
What's this have to do with trick-or-treaters, Lou?
It's strapped on my back. This.
A bazooka?
Close. I started out as a bazooka, but I modified it.
You really shouldn't go modifying firearms, Lou. Remember what happened last time.
Oh, that was just a misunderstanding between me and North Korea. This is totally different. I replaced lethal firepower with treat-delivering velocity.
With what?
Like I said, I love Halloween, but I don't want any of those nasty kids on my lawn. So, instead of having the kids come up to the candy, I send the candy to the kids.
It's a candy cannon?
Of course not. That would be stupid. It's a treat bazooka.
Sorry. My mistake.
Observe. See that group of kids over there?
Yeah?
Watch. Hey kids, trick or treat. Of course, I still have to calibrate the muzzle velocity.
You're a menace, Lou.
And a spoil sport.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, Halloween's supposed to be about kids having fun. You don't shoot candy at them from 50 yards.
But I told you, I love Halloween.
Nonsense. Someone who loves Halloween would invite the kids in, make spooky treats, put up a decoration or two.
I have decorations.
What? Where?
All around us. The whole yard is decorated.
I hate to bring you bad news there, Lou, but there ain't no decorations here.
Oh, well, of course you can't see them.
Come again?
My decorations. You can't see them.
You have invisible decorations.
Of course not.
Oh, good. For a minute there, I thought you'd finally gone crazy.
They're not invisible. They're just camouflaged really well.
So, you mean you got decorations right now in this yard?
Sure. All around us.
Give me a for instance.
Well, you see that bush over there?
Sure.
Not really a bush. It's actually a ghost.
Really? That's amazing. What about that shrub?
Tombstone.
Wow. What about the bird bath?
Axe murderer. Here, that one has a sound. I work it with a remote.
How do you do all this?
I worked on it all year. I told you, I love Halloween.
Let me get this straight. You go out, buy a bunch of Halloween decorations, bring them home, then spend hours working so they don't look like Halloween decorations anymore.
It's a very fulfilling hobby, Woody.
Wow.
What did you do?
This ficus is one of them.
That's my witch. She has a motion sensor hooked up to a sound effect. See?
Of all the dumb schemes you've ever come up with, Lou, this has got to be the dumbest.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
A decoration is a decoration because it's a decoration, all right? You can't change the way a thing looks and still have it be a decoration.
Why not?
Because... this is like arguing why is there air.
You know, I have always wondered why there was air.
Not helping, Dunghauser.
You just don't understand Halloween, Woody.
Yeah.
I like decorating, and I want the decorations to be safe. If I had a bunch of regular witches and ghosts in the yard, teenagers would come along and wreck it, all just for kicks. I just want to protect my investment. Is that so weird?
But if you can't see them, they're not really decorations.
You can see them. They're right there.
What? What's right there? That's a bush, Lou, a bush. It's not a witch.
It is so a witch.
Oh, yeah, and I suppose this part right here is her wart-covered nose.
That's not her nose, Woody.
Lou, I gotta tell you, this is weird even for you.
You ask me, you just don't understand Halloween.
Yeah.
And you quit jumping over to his side.
No, I agree with him, Woody. You just don't get the spirit of the holiday.
Oh, I do so. Trick-or-treaters replace the real evil spirits people used to leave gifts and food out for to ward off misfortune in the coming winter. It's the old Samhain festival.
The what now?
The Samhain Festival. Old Celtic festival of fires.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe you do understand Halloween, Woody.
How do you know all this?
Well, I do read, Dunghauser. There's plenty of time at the store.
Which reminds me, here is the balance for those batteries, Woody.
Well, ain't that nice? Thank you, Lou, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you guys.
Thanks. We better be getting back to the kids, Woody.
And I better be getting back to my observation post.
You really worry about trick-or-treaters that much, Lou?
Well, it's not just them. I have some security measures I have to keep an eye on.
What was that?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing illegal.
Lou, do you have something chained up in your backyard?
Well, of course I do, Woody. It wouldn't fit in the basement.
Well, what is it?
Oh, just something I ordered online.
Online?
Yeah, kind of a science project. Sort of like those sea monkeys you used to order out of comic books, only bigger.
I think that's our cue, Dunghauser. The kids need us to check their candy or something.
Yeah, we still need to find you a cat.
Whatever, let's go. See you, Lou.
Happy Samhain, Woody.
Yeah, right. See you later.
What a great holiday. I told you you can't go trick-or-treating with the other kids until you clean up your room. That may be true, but those are the rules. Now get cracking and I may let you have some of the candy I bought. That is, if there's any left. Hey kids, trick or treat!
Woody and Dunghauser with Tricky Treat, ladies and gentlemen. Up here in the dark with me, Justin Capwell, Cody Boyer, and Ayla McIntosh was all the children. That is the first half of our broadcast. Beth, why don't we go ahead and bring the lights up, and the bar, I believe, is open. Bring the lights up somewhat longer. And we will be back in about 15 minutes with the house in Cypress Canyon. Thank you very much for coming. Well, thank you for coming back into the heat of this wonderful October evening. If we'd known, we would have done this at the band show, which may be next Halloween. You don't know. Wanted to let you know the main feature this evening is a story that the website oldtime.com named one of the top 2 scariest radio plays ever written. It's entitled, of course, The House in Cypress Canyon, written by Robert L. Richards, originally produced by William Spear. House in Cypress Canyon was presented only once on the Suspense program, that on December 5th, 1946. Now, there's a little bit of a framing story to this one, and it's a story really about a forgotten chapter in U.S. history, the housing crisis that immediately followed the end of World War II. Following the war, as men returned from the service, there was a huge push to, quote, return to normalcy. Couples had put life on hold for 4 years to defeat Hitler and Tojo. They now turned to domestic life with a vengeance. And for all those couples all trying to settle down and start families all at once, which of course eventually led to the baby boom, there was understandably not enough houses to go around. Now this is the backdrop of our story. Story of an average, normal couple who have moved from the Midwest to Los Angeles to take advantage of a job opportunity, only to discover a severe housing shortage gripping the entire city. Put yourself now in the mind of a person moving 2,000 miles from home to a city unknown to you, to be forced into an extended stay in a motel. And we're not talking about a modern motel with free breakfast and Wi-Fi. We're talking about a 1946 motel in California where they hadn't invented insulation yet. Would not take long for desperation to take hold. And you take just about any house you could get. So come back with us now to a different time and a different place for Robert L. Richards, The House in Cypress Canyon.
Merry Christmas, Jerry. How's the real estate business?
Kind of early with your greeting, aren't you, Sam?
Well, I gotta get him in sometime. I may not see you again until next Christmas.
This real estate racket gets any crazier and I'll be dead by next Christmas.
Business is booming, isn't it?
Sure. Ever since the men came back from the war, it's boomed. That's just the problem. 10 couples for every available house. If we don't get some more construction soon, there's going to be riots out there.
Well, that's California for you.
Thanks for coming up here, Sam.
What's on your mind, Jerry?
Well, you'll probably shoot me when you hear it, Sam, because I'm probably nuts. But doggone it, you're a detective and you're my pal, and I just had to tell somebody.
Well, you sound like it's serious.
That's just it. I don't know what it is, Sam, but... Now listen, you know how we're agents for a group of houses up in Cypress Canyon?
Mm-hmm.
Well, those places, they were started before the war, and they never got finished.
Oh, yeah.
All they got in were the foundations, just concrete and a couple of beams. Well, they've been finished now. In fact, I'm putting up the for rent on the last of them today.
Well, what do you want? Police protection from the first mob?
Well, no. Listen, Sam. The house that I'm talking about, it's got a number now. 2256. But before, when the men went back to work on it about 3 months ago, well, they had just started when the foreman on the job brought me a shoebox he'd found up on a beam. And this box had a manuscript in it. A story, kind of, all written out.
Yeah?
Well, he gave me the thing and I read it. I didn't think much about it. I put it in my desk, but the other day as I happened to drive by there, I saw the number on the house and what the house looked like, and I thought of this manuscript. Well, I don't like it, that's all. There's something funny about it.
Well, what's funny about it?
Well, mind you, this thing was found in an unfinished house in Cypress Canyon. House was only just started building.
All right.
Well, listen, Sam, I want to read it to you. If you've got the time, then you'll see what I mean.
All right, shoot.
Well, here's how it begins. To whom it may concern, my reasons for setting down on paper what follows here will be abundantly clear
to anyone in whose possession it may fall. First, let me say I'm a very ordinary person. My name is James A. Woods, 35 years old, by profession a chemical engineer. My wife Ellen was a school teacher when I met and married her in Indiana 7 years ago. There's nothing in the past life of either one of us to suggest remotely any cause or reason for the dreadful thing that's invaded our lives. Our married life has been in no way different from that of millions of other average, reasonably happy, and congenial families. 3 months ago, I was ordered by my firm to take charge of a minor project in Los Angeles, Hollywood to be exact. The order was a sudden one. There's no time to secure accommodations, and conditions being what they are, the inevitable result was that until the day before yesterday, we'd been living in the cramped quarters of one of those characteristic California motels. Needless to say, most of our spare time had been devoted to a search for something more permanent and comfortable, but the fruits of these efforts had been financially and in every other way a geometrical progression of discouragement. Until last Saturday afternoon, anyway, only 4 days before Christmas. We were driving into town on our way to a movie when Ellen saw it.
Jim, look.
What?
Well, that sign. In front of that real estate office.
Oh, yeah.
Well, don't you see what it says? For rent, furnished, 2-bedroom house, close in, immediate occupancy.
Yeah,
Aren't you gonna stop?
Oh, Ellen, you know what a sign like that would mean right out in plain sight in front of a real estate office.
Oh, yeah, but Jim...
Probably want an arm and a leg for rent every month, and
Well,
then...
we'll never know until we ask.
If it's any good at all, there are probably 50 people fighting for it back there right now.
Well, there's no harm in trying now, is there?
You really want to go back?
Oh, it's probably foolish, but what can we lose?
Okay.
Oh, darling, come on, cheer up. How do you know? Maybe our luck's changed. Maybe fate's gonna give us a nice new house for a Christmas present.
Come in.
Oh, sorry to bother you, but we just happened to see that for rent sign outside, and,
Oh, yeah. I hung it outside just this minute.
Is the house available?
Why, sure. Sure it is.
let me introduce myself. My name is James A. Woods, and this is my wife, Ellen.
Well, how do you do? Wow. Looks like it's getting ready to rain.
Yeah, so it does, doesn't it? Well, it was one of those things. The real estate agent had just been authorized to rent the place by mail that morning, and she'd hardly had time to look at it herself and put up her sign when we drove up. It was just an ordinary little California house, about halfway up Cypress Canyon, number 2256. Just an ordinary, undistinguished little house. The agent didn't know much about it. Construction on it had been stopped by the war and had just been completed and furnished lately. It had been vacant while somebody's estate was being settled, and now it was owned by a bank in Sacramento. Of course, we didn't care about all that.
Come in. Oh, Ellen, come in. 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 Got this key in the mail along with the authorization to rent. It's the only one there is. Of course, you can have duplicates made. Oh, it seems to stick a little. Ah, well, there it is.
It doesn't sound as though that door's ever been opened.
Well, a little oil on the hinges will fix that right up.
Oh, sure.
Well, now, here's your living room. Furniture's a little dusty, of course. You gotta expect that. It's good furniture, though, you see. Benson Brothers.
Yes, uh-huh.
Now, over here's a little den. Paneled, you see, radio, fireplace. Really attractive little room, particularly for a man.
Uh-huh, yep.
Now, the bedroom's off the living room. Here, everything's all on one floor. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's quite nice, I think.
Yes, uh-huh.
You can see that you'll get the morning sun here. There's a view of the canyon through these front windows. You'll get cross ventilation.
That's about all there was to it. It wasn't the best place in the world. It was small and badly built, but what would you have done? We took it, with as little inspection as that. It was the Saturday before Christmas, and the very same evening we were struggling up the steps from the road with suitcases and boxes and armloads of clothes and all the endless bric-a-brac that people collect and never really know they have until they move. Ellen began unpacking, and I began moving things around and taking the worst of the pictures off the wall, doing all the little things that everybody does when they move into a new place and try to give it something of their own personality.
Oh, don't be such a sourpuss. You know, it's a roof over our heads for Christmas. That's more than we ever thought we'd get, isn't it? Now, what in the world are we going to do with these two pictures?
Well, why don't we just leave them where they are?
Oh, Jim, we can't. They're too awful.
All right, put them in a closet then.
Oh, I can't. Both the closets are jammed full.
No, I mean the other one, that little alcove off the den. At least there's a door there. I suppose it's a closet. I don't really know.
That isn't a commentary on the housing problem, huh? A woman moving into a house without even knowing where all the closets are. Take the pictures down, will you, honey? Bring them in here.
Okay.
I guess you'll have to help me with this door. I can't seem to get it open.
Let me see it. Oh, well, of course you can't, silly. It's locked. Where are those keys we found on the desk?
Oh, here they are.
All right. No, not this one. I'm sure this one won't work. No. It feels like an awful solid door for a closet.
That's one solid door in the house.
No, I don't think this one will do it either. Well, we'll just have to get a locksmith up here on Monday. I'll put the pictures behind the desk, okay?
Yeah, all right. Jim, if you could just help me move this armchair, huh?
Oh, Ellen, will you let it go until tomorrow? Do you know what time it is?
Oh, but honey, I'd like to get the place looking just a little bit...
Yeah, but it's almost midnight. In fact, it's exactly...
What was that?
Tomcat, I guess. Out in the brush somewhere.
Sounded near. Hope that doesn't go on all night.
Oh, there isn't much we can do about it. Come on, Ellen, I'm dead tired.
All right, Jim.
Say, where'd you put the toothpaste, honey?
It's right in the medicine cabinet.
Oh, yeah.
Jim, we ought to get some firewood tomorrow. You know, a fire in that living room would make all the difference in the world.
You can't, it's Sunday.
Well, Monday then. Jim, I think red curtains are what we need, don't you?
Mm-hmm, yeah, whatever.
You know, at least just for the living room anyway. And the ones in there now have got to come down.
You know, I suppose they do.
What do you think of red?
Well, I guess it's all up to you.
Jim?
Just some tomcat.
Jim, it sounded in the house.
Oh, now how could it be in the house, Ellen? We've been over every inch of this house.
Well, except that closet.
Now, how could a cat or anything else be in a closet that's been locked up for over a year?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably just under the house. A wild cat or a mountain lion or something. I hear they have them up here in California.
Well, Jim, I don't like it.
Well, neither do I, but there's nothing we can do about it tonight.
Oh, well, maybe we ought to call somebody. The the police or a neighbor.
Oh, don't be silly, Ellen. You're acting like a kid. Come on, let's go to bed, huh?
Oh, all right. I suppose it is silly. Jimmy, did you lock the door?
Yeah. Can I turn out the lights now?
Yeah, all right.
Good night, Ellen. Sleep tight.
Good night, Jim.
I don't know what time it was. Maybe an hour, maybe half an hour later. My mind was in that hazy borderland between sleep and a dream that's still part of consciousness. And I was awake. Ellen, you alright?
Yes?
You have a nightmare or something?
No, I heard it too.
Well, that didn't sound like any cat.
Put on the light.
Yeah.
It seemed to be out there, Jim. In the house somewhere.
I'm gonna look into this.
Jim, be careful.
Come on. Where's my shotgun?
In the den, I think. Jim,
What?
there's something wet.
What? Wet?
We're running from under the closet door. It's sticky.
Ellen, don't touch it.
I had to. Jim, it's blood.
It cannot be too difficult to understand from the foregoing why I've taken the pains to set down in writing the events related here. To find in one's newly rented house a closet which cannot be opened is in itself certainly no great cause for alarm, but to be awakened in the stillness of the night by unearthly cries within that house, to find oozing from under that closet door something that is unquestionably blood, that's another matter entirely. Perhaps others might have been braver than we, but suffice it to say, we got out of the house in something very close to a panic and only returned when we had the moral support of 2 stalwart Los Angeles policemen.
You, just had moved in here, you say?
That's right, officer. You can see we're still unpacking.
And the place has been empty right along before that?
Yeah, I don't know much about that part of it. You could check all that with the real estate agent, though.
Well, where is this closet?
Oh, it's right in here, officer. And the blood is...
Where? Where's the blood?
Jim?
Officer, I swear to you, there was blood on the floor less than an hour ago. I saw it.
Uh-huh.
It was running out from under that door. We heard the noise and we got up, and when we saw it, the door was locked.
Locked, huh?
Oh, no,
Well, it seems to be all right now.
Hey, you folks aren't trying to be funny, are you?
Isn't there anything in it?
No, ma'am, there is not.
Look, officer, we're reputable people. You can call my firm. They'll tell you all about me.
There's nothing wrong with this closet. Walls are solid. No trapdoors.
Look, if you think I'm lying, you haven't...
didn't say that, mister. Oh, you probably did hear some sort of noise and you got a little panicky and...
What about the blood? It got on my hands.
It isn't there now, is it?
Yes.
Where?
I feel it.
All right. Now you folks take it easy. You know you're liable to hear all kinds of noises up in these canyons at night. You're, from the east, you say?
Yeah, I'm sorry, officer.
Oh, that's all right, that's all right. If you have any real trouble, call on us anytime.
All right.
Well, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, you ought to have this door fixed. That's enough to scare you.
Yeah, we're gonna have it fixed. We didn't say much about it after that. There wasn't much more that could be said. The next day, I went to a lot and bought a little Christmas tree and some trimmings. And we tried to pretend we were cheerful, but there was an uneasiness between us that had never been there before. Ellen seemed tired and listless. Several times during the day, I noticed her washing her hands with a brush, scrubbing the one that had touched the blood. That night, we each took a sleeping pill and went to bed. Sometime after midnight, when I was suddenly wide awake, staring into the darkness. In some way, I knew at once and instinctively what had awakened me. Ellen wasn't in her bed, nor was she in the room. The nameless thing I feared gripped at my heart until I could scarcely breathe. I opened the bedroom door and started through the house, putting on every light I could find. There wasn't much to search, but I searched thoroughly. The living room, the kitchen, bathroom, den, even the garage. All that time, the dread of looking where I knew at last I must look. For I think I know from the very first where I'd find her. It must have been a full minute that I stood before that closet door before I opened it. She stood there, rigid, arms at her sides. Her fingers were extended like claws. Her hair was over her face, and her eyes stared out of it. Her lips were drawn back in a grin like some kind of animal at bay. For the moment I was frozen with the horror of it, and then I stretched out my hand. Very deliberately, she turned her head and sunk her teeth until they met into the flesh of my forearm. I raised my hand to strike at her, but already she'd released her hold and gone utterly limp. She would have fallen unless I'd caught her, carried her into the bedroom, and laid her on the bed. Strangely, at that moment, my only thought was how I might revive her until I saw it was not a faint, but a sleep that she'd fallen into. A sleep as deep and heavy as though she'd been drugged. So I left her. But for me that night, there was no sleep.
Jim?
Yes, Ellen?
What are you doing up so early?
Oh, I got a little restless. Went out to make some coffee.
Oh, I had the most wonderful sleep. Oh, and I feel so rested.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Jim?
What?
What's the matter with your arm?
Oh, I just hurt it.
Oh, honey, it's terribly swollen. Let me see it.
No, it's all right, Ellen.
Oh, it isn't all right. You've got to go see Dr. Wesley right away.
Sure, I will.
No, now you promised me, Jim, that you'll go first thing this morning. How did it happen?
There was a dog.
Dog?
Yeah, I heard him trying to chew through the screen door, so I went out to chase him away and he bit me.
What? You mean with all that racket and I didn't even wake up?
No, Ellen, you didn't even wake up. It was clear to me that Ellen didn't know anything about what had transpired the night before. I went to my office that morning and made a pretense of going over routine business, if only to restore my mind to some semblance of calm by the sight and sound of common familiar things. The pain in my arm had become a persistent, dull throbbing. I made a late appointment with Dr. Westleaf, and he treated my arm with something of an arched eyebrow and said,
Well, I've never seen anything quite like it before. That is such a rapid onset of infection.
It was dark when I left his office. I hadn't realized it was so late. Driving home, my car seemed sluggish until I saw the needle on the dashboard. I realized I was pushing it to the utmost of its speed. I was racing home to prevent something before it was too late. Before that darkness conspired against me. Somehow I already knew with certainty that it was the darkness in the night that I had to fear. The curves of the canyon seemed endless. Then the cold fear reached up inside me. My house, too, was dark. I went slowly up the stone steps from the road, looking, praying for some sign of light or life, but there was none. The house was empty. Ellen was gone. I looked with the same self-torturing thoroughness and in that closet first of all. Knowing as I did so, it was hopeless. And so, alone in that empty house, I waited. Powerless, helpless, now deadened in thought and will. Empty as the house itself, save only for the overwhelming sense of terrible foreboding. Sometime in the early hours of the morning, I snapped on the radio. Police band, why? Surely a minor question now. I only know that I did. And then I heard it.
Car 58, go to Laurel Canyon, 4000 block. A report a man has been injured or attacked. Condition thought to be critical. Ambulance will follow. That is all.
I was there almost before the police, edging my way through the little crowd, staring down at the man lying there in his white uniform under the streetlight.
Yeah, it's a milkman, poor guy.
I heard him scream, but when I got here, he was just like this.
All right, stand back. Stand back, please. Please, stand back.
Well, you again.
I heard it on the radio. I live just down the road.
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Well, take a look. Maybe you can tell us.
He was dead. He was lying on his back. His throat had been torn out as though by the fangs of some wild animal. It's now Christmas Eve, or rather Christmas morning, a little after midnight. I've been waiting here, in the stillness of this empty house, for nearly 24 hours. Waiting for the end. Already once tonight, I've heard that dreadful wailing cry somewhere out in the hills. I've nailed up the closet door, but I know that was childish, useless. My arm is horribly swollen. It's starting to turn black, but that's nothing. It's another end that I foresee, as surely as other men foresee the rising of the sun. I hear the cry again. It's nearer now. I shall leave these notes in a sealed envelope and put it in a shoebox in the hope that someone will give credence to these dark and terrible events, if indeed such nameless horrors can ever yield to mortal understanding. As for myself, I feel no longer any fear or even sorrow. Only a desire that the end and the thing I must do may come soon. And it will be soon, I know. Yes, there's someone at the door.
Someone at the door. Huh? What do you make of it, Sam?
Well, it's quite a yarn. Well, what of it?
That's what I thought. But now listen, that's not quite all of it.
Oh?
Clipped to it is a newspaper clipping. Listen. Hollywood, December the 26th. Police reported what was apparently a case of murder and suicide in Cypress Canyon. Sometime in the early hours of the morning, the victims were James A. Woods, a chemical engineer, and his wife Ellen. Preliminary investigation indicates that Mrs. Woods was killed by the blast of a shotgun in the hands of her husband, who then turned the weapon upon himself. That she fought desperately for her life, however, was evident by the disorder of the room and the severe lacerations inflicted upon her husband about the neck and arms. This is the second tragedy to be reported in Cypress Canyon within 24 hours, the other being the unexplained death of Frank Polanski, a milkman.
Well, no such murders, or whatever they were, ever occurred, if that's what you're worrying you. The clipping, well, you can have those things printed up, you know.
Oh no, it's not that, Sam. Okay, that story was found in an unfinished house in Cypress Canyon. No number to the house, no nothing. Just a framework.
Uh-huh.
Now, that house is finished. When I drove by it today. But that's what stopped me, Sam, because it all fits. Now that it's finished, it is the house in the story. The same construction, the same vines and creepers on the lawn, even the same number.
So what? A guy who knows roughly what this house is going to be like writes a yarn and loses it or something.
Did he know the place was going to be listed for rent today, the Saturday before Christmas?
Jerry, coincidence. 2 bits you find the guy next door is a ghost story writer or something, and he's been wondering for a year what happened to that thing he wrote.
Okay. Coincidence. I'm sorry I bothered you, Sam.
Nah, don't be silly. I liked it. It's a good yarn. That the for rent sign you were talking about?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to put it up outside now.
Uh-huh. Well, so long, Jerry, and Merry Christmas again.
Yeah, well, thanks, Sam. I guess I was kind of silly, all right.
Well, now listen, when a guy named, whatever it was, Woods, with a wife named Ellen, comes in to rent that place from you, then you can start worrying.
Yeah, so long, Sam.
So long, Jerry.
Come in.
Oh, we're sorry to bother you, but we just happened to see that for rent sign outside.
Yeah, I hung it out just this minute.
Is the house available?
Why, sure it is.
Let me introduce myself. My name is James A. Woods, and this is my wife, Ellen.
How do? Wow. It looks like it's getting ready.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
This has been The House in Cypress Canyon by Robert O. Richards. You may applaud. A cast worth repeating: Justin Capital, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Ayla McIntosh. Cody Boyer is back there. KCCTV would like the shy people to step into the camera's warm glow. There's Cody Boyer. Diane Adams, and Caleb Silvers. Oh yes, I'm Jeff Adams, I did sound effects. For those of you listening online, these people all gave a donation, so go to iceboxradio.org and do that too. Thank you very much, and have a happy and safe Halloween.